So hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. I am Surbhi and this is Perspective 360 Degree, your one-stop solution for current affairs, descriptive writing and answer writing evaluation. First of all, before proceeding any further, kindly let me know in the chat section if the audio, the video, that is this presentation that will be running behind, and me myself, all the three things are clear to you. And then we'll proceed ahead and let's see what's the topic that we have for today. The topic is population explosion. Whether it's going to be a demographic dividend for our country or is it going to be a demographic disaster? That is the question. And as you know, that India is the biggest democracy of the world, the greatest democracy. So population does come with its advantages, but for a country like India, which is scarce in natural resources, land, water, and our air is polluted in a lot of cities, so there are a lot of challenges also. And to touch upon all these aspects, we will be taking one question which will cover most of these aspects, and you will learn a great deal about population, India's population, and population explosion. So good evening, Muskan, Sarish, you've been back after very long. All right. Good evening, all of you. And okay. So, for those of you who are joining me for the first time here, this initiative is meant for those people who are preparing for regulatory bodies examinations. For example, your RBI Grade B, NABARD Grade A, SEBI Legal, etc. Recently, it has been seen that few years ago, a descriptive writing part has been introduced in all these examinations in phase two of these exams. And descriptive writing can be tough, especially if the questions are from current affairs. You could lack in finding data, you could lack in finding clear facts, and many of these topics involve interlinking of syllabus, sometimes even there are points which you need to know that are outside the syllabus, so to be able to write good answers. So the aim of Perspective 360 Degree is to provide you with a solution for all these aspects. So we cover current affairs here and we cover them in a question answer manner, not the objective questions but the descriptive questions. So on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, I take one question for descriptive writing, which is a sample question that can be asked in your phase 2, and we frame an answer, and side by side we understand the topic, we delve deeper into the topic. Also, the special part about this initiative is that after watching this video, you can post your answers, you can write answers, yes, you can practice with us, post your answers in the next 48 hours in the comment section under this video, and our experts will evaluate that answer free of cost and provide you with a comprehensive feedback. So and it's all free of cost, so do avail this opportunity, guys. So today we are at day 66 of Perspective 360 Degree. Thank you for the great response that you have given to this series, and I really appreciate the consistent efforts of all the students who have been writing answers on a daily basis. I hope that this initiative is benefiting you. I hope that you are learning a great deal of information and answer writing skills. So good evening all of you, Kataria, Anu and Shalini. Okay. No, not as of now. This initiative is particularly for all the students and this is free. For the app, we have like separate paid courses in which I do take some sessions, but not these ones. Alright, so in news, it has been that committee will study fast population growth and demographic changes. It has been said by your Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman. So recently, the first interim budget of present Finance Minister was presented. She has presented many budgets before, but it was her first interim budget, and during that interim budget speech she highlighted that there will be a committee that will be formed to check or to study fast population growth in the country, because overpopulation is a problem for India. Now that news was covered with the by like factually and in terms of viewpoints by various writers in various newspapers. So this is from Indian Express. Population Growth Committee move beyond emergency era fears. So during the emergency years, strict measures against population growth were taken. Strict measures included forceful methods to stop people from reproducing. Then This is from the Mint, 1.4 billion and counting. How did India's population explode and get so big? So there are a lot of screenshots and snapshots that I have for you today, because this topic is very easy to understand, first of all, and secondly, you can cover it with respect to current affairs. So whenever a question is asked from this area of the syllabus, you should be well prepared with all the aspects. We'll be touching on some of the aspects that is a cartoon for you, just to keep the things light. Kindly read this out later. Kindly go through this PDF later, when it is made available tomorrow on our Telegram channel. If I look at RBI Grade B syllabus, all aspirants, brace up for the topic of social structure in India. That is part of your syllabus. There is a subtopic called demographic trends, under which overpopulation and population trends are very important. Secondly, if I look at the syllabus of NABARD Grade A, again the same topic, demographic trends, is part of your syllabus, and hence anything related to population of the country is very important for your exam. For SEBI Grade A, you do not have a direct topic which is related to population growth, overpopulation, nothing like that. But for English writing skills, this topic holds great relevance. Now, today the question that I have for you is going to be a tough one. It's going to be different from what we have done in Perspective 360 till date. So this is the question, guys, and the statement is, quote, the point of population stabilization is to reduce or minimize misery. Explain the significance of the statement in the context of India. Answer for 600 words for 15 marks. Now, if you look at keywords, it's going to be hard to find keywords and micro questions. What is the what is this statement about, and whose significance do we have to explain? The question is asking you, explain the significance of this statement in context of India. So you have to frame an answer with respect to India. And if you're writing with respect to India, then you have to basically explain the statement. How is it relevant or important with regards to India? So the point of population stabilization is to reduce or minimize misery. I know that many of you understand the statement. You would say yes, you would agree with it, but what to write in our answer? That's the question. So today we are, before moving on to the answer blueprint, let me just show it to you that such statement based questions, they can be hard to answer. And, since this initiative is current affairs based, so we have not been able to touch a lot on management or ethics questions. So when such statement based or a quote based questions is asked, the best way is to start with a quote, an example, or if that is not possible, for just try to decipher the statement as much as you can. So in this, the statement looks like it's an answer to some question or its response in some conversation. Look at the statement again. Don't you think that this cannot, let's say if a conversation is happening, then the statement appears like it's an answer to a question which has been asked, or it is, one of the answers that has been given by one of the two people in a conversation. So it's not like, it's not very objective question. It has subjectivity to it, and the toughest part of this answer, the biggest challenge, is going to be deciphering the question and what do you have to write, what is the question asking you to do. All right, so in such statements, first of all, try to figure out what is the conversation going on, or what could have been the question preceding this answer, or what could have been the question preceding this particular statement. So if I ask you, why is population stabilization required in any country? That is my question to you. Why is population stabilization required in any country? Your answer would be probably this statement. The point of population stabilization is to reduce or minimize misery. So that is your one-line answer. Hence, the question that was happening in the conversation behind was, why is population stabilization required in any country? So what you have to do in such statements is identify the background question or conversation, that why in this case, why is population stabilization needed, and this is your real question. You'll have to expand your answer around this particular conversation or this particular question. All right, so when you have to write the answer, what you will be doing is answering this question, which is not directly given here in the question statement, but you have to identify this, and this is very simple to do if you practice some of the questions like these. So our introduction will have overview of the topic under discussion, that is overview of overpopulation or population explosion in India. The second one will be talking about the question that we framed, why are population stabilization measures necessary? So importance of population stabilization, that is your body part 1. And since we are not very clear does the significance involve? What are the reasons that why population stabilization is necessary? It can be a little vague statement to ask. Hence, like we will also give some of the measures that have been taken by government to stabilize population, or we'll write a way forward that can be used, the methods that can be used to stabilize population in the country, and what is being done, what can be done, and finally in the conclusion we'll write a summary. Now, for those of you, I have like a lot of you joining me in. For how many of you this understanding of the statement is clear? Kindly let me know in the chat section. Only then we'll proceed further, because otherwise, what we do is we take very objective questions and they're very simple to understand. Today, this question is a little hard to understand. Kindly look at this blueprint that we have created for the answer, because after this, it's going to be very, very simple to send your responses. Then let me know if there are any doubts in understanding this. I can explain that again. So I hope the question clarity is there. Sorry, Shashmita, Kataria, Anu, Shalini, Muskan. So are you clear about the question? And then from here we'll move on to discuss the introduction, that is overview of overpopulation or population explosion in India. Okay. So now, first of all, I have some of the quotes for you with regards to, all right, Padmini, all right, Muskan. So things are understood. Okay. Amit, kindly go back. You don't have to watch me live. Kindly go back to where this video started, and then you will be able to understand better. Okay. All right, Ashmita, Shalini. So see, again, I would brief you guys, whenever there is a quote-based or a statement-based question asked, kindly try to decipher the preceding statement, preceding question or preceding conversation of the given statement and answer that preceding question. So this will become very easy for you to understand and to respond. Okay, so importance of population stabilization, this is what is highlighted by the statement, and we will expand on what is the importance of population stabilization and what can be done in this regard. So that's what this question is asking you, and I'm happy that most of you have understood deciphering these. So we'll try to practice more of such questions so that we are well prepped up for all the aspects of exam. So these are some quotes for you. You can definitely use them in various parts of your answer, especially in the conclusion and introduction. Then I have two theories for you which are related to population growth. If you have not covered these two theories as part of your static syllabus, kindly go back and cover them. The first one is Malthus basic theory, Malthus theory of population growth. He just says that this straight line is resources available or the food available, and there comes a time that population increases so high because it is increasing in geometric progression, that population is so high here that your resources remain less for the people. So resources remain behind, while people who are to be fed with the help of these resources are very, very large in number. And then there is a crisis for earth, there is a crisis for nature, and in such situations what happens? There are positive checks on population. Pandemics are there, natural disasters are there, diseases are there. So these are positive checks of nature to decrease the population. So the biggest concern with overpopulated countries like India is, for the global community, one of the concerns is spread of diseases. There are many, and especially we are a tropical country, that means there are more microbes which live in our country, more diseases are there, and especially because of the population density, because that arises from overpopulation, there are threats of pandemics emanating out of India. There are threats of new diseases emanating out of India. So it's a concern for the entire world, overpopulated countries. The second one I want you to know about is the theory of demographic transition. It says that there are stages of population growth, and there are population growth in any country or in any area. In the initial stage, when you have a tribal society, pre-industrial stage, the birth rate and death rate is both of them are very high. Birth rate because people need more security, there are no birth control measures, and death rate is high because medical facilities or healthcare facilities or sanitation is not there, adequate nutrition is not there. As time progresses, development occurs, death rate is brought down because of the government's measures and healthcare infrastructure available, but the birth rate rate does not come down because people still don't feel secure. They feel that agriculture is important, and hence more people are needed, more kids are needed. And in this stage, you see population will increase, population explosion occurs, and India is somewhere in stage 3 of demographic transition. So India has seen a population explosion, and our population is increasing, and up till 2045 it is supposed to increase. That is what the estimate is. And in the previous year, that is in 2023, UN DESA, or Department of Economic and Social Affairs of United Nations, it said that India overtakes China as the world's most populous country. Now, you will get this PDF tomorrow on our Telegram channel. So see, India has not conducted census after 2011. I'm sure that you are aware of this. Census of 2021, which was to be conducted in 2021, that has been indefinitely postponed. So we have no idea how many people are there in India, how many people are residing in India, what is the population of India. Exact estimates are not available. Survey based estimates, that is estimates based on a small section of population, they are available. And projections are available, that according to the birth rate, according to the number of babies being born, according to the people who have been dying in the previous years. So those estimates are available. Exact number is not available. So according to UN estimates, India has overtaken China as world's most populous country in 2023. But India does not have an official claim for that. We don't claim that we are the most populous country. So see, when you have to begin this answer, start by focusing on population explosion or population itself. Now, when you have to begin any answer, you cannot say that India has become the most populous country of the world. Just remember, go back, what is the demand of the question? Sorry, the demand of the question is need of population control measures or need of population stabilization measures with respect to India. What is the importance of these measures with respect to India? So start by focusing on why overpopulation is not good, what are the challenges it poses, and then focus on that, why they are needed. Just answer them in like 5 to 6 points and then give a way forward. That is going to be very, very simple. So first of all, identify that, overpopulation comes with its advantages and disadvantages both. So a rising population, as much as it provides for the requisite human resource, key to human development of a country, brings its own challenges. So population escalation, we're just highlighting that it is a problem. Population escalation or overpopulation is a major issue around the world which has adverse impact on numerous environmental and human health problems. Now slowly bring the context to India, and just after highlighting about what problems overpopulation poses, bring the context back to India. So there is a direct connection between population growth and the well-being of a society. I hope you understand that, because resources that are present on the earth, they are limited, and if we overproduce or over reproduce, then those sources become scarce for everybody. The quality of natural resources that deteriorates. The same type of infrastructure or the same level of infrastructure which would have served, let's say, 100 people, if it has to serve 200 people or even more than that, then quality of life deteriorates. So overpopulation is not something that we require. And most of the problems that are present in your country, they are somewhere related to overpopulation or the competition between amongst people for the minor resources that we have available, for the small percentage of resources that we have available. If you live in some area that has water scarcity, that has shortage of electricity, that has very expensive residential spaces, buying a house in that area is like so expensive that you feel that you'll have to work your entire life to be able to afford a house. So all these problems, they are emanating because India has small land area, and we are prone to natural disasters. We do not have a lot of water resources. So if you have that India holds just 2% or 1% of water resources of the world, but 8% of the population, if you want to start there, you can definitely do that. So India, according to various estimates of UN, is the most populous country of the world, with an ever increasing population on one hand and the challenges of scarce resources. That's first challenge. Unemployment second, lack of robust manufacturing sector, etc. on the other. You can write as many challenges as you want to. Don't feel that this is a statement created by some AI expert. This is a statement that is created by humans, by somebody who would have the IQ of your level. So just see how the statement is being framed, that ever increasing population is on one hand, on the other hand what you have is challenges coming out of those. So whatever challenges you remember that India is facing, which are somewhat related to overpopulation, whether it's like scarce resources, pressure on infrastructure, unemployment, and things like that. So kindly use those challenges and enhance your answer to fetch more marks. So India is now at a standpoint where demography could take a turn towards disaster or provide dividends. Then the next line is, hence in the context of India, population stabilization holds significant implications. So this is exactly the statement that we started with. Population stabilization, its significance was asked in the question. So it holds significant implications for various aspects of social, economic, and environmental well-being. You can add various aspects here as well, social, economic, or environmental well-being, talk about human development here. So use another comma, add another term. And here you can use your current affairs knowledge. Kindly, showcase your knowledge of current affairs in the introduction itself. It will definitely fetch more marks for you, but everything should be related. So in her interim budget speech, Union Finance Minister, you can avoid the name here if it's good to avoid some names. You can just say that Union Finance Minister said that a high-powered committee will be constituted to consider the challenges arising from fast population growth and demographic changes. So now you can move on to the next part, that is Let's Delve Deeper section. And in the Let's Delve Deeper section, we'll talk about the points that why population stabilization is important for India. We have given the basic overview of the harms of overpopulation or generally, or population explosion generally, why it is harmful. Then you have also said that the government is focusing on it and a new committee is about to be formed. And now let's focus on what is the importance of these measures or this stabilization in detail. So we'll be focusing on these aspects in under 5 subheadings. The first one is resource allocation, the second is economic development, the third is education and healthcare, the fourth one is environmental sustainability, and the fifth one is infrastructure and quality of life. Now I want you to take back here, you have to talk about importance of population stabilization. That means what happens when you carry out population stabilization, means what is the positive aspect of it. See, you can answer this question in two ways. Either you can talk about what are the harmful effects of overpopulation, that you have already lightly touched on in the introduction. The second aspect is, overpopulation is there on one hand. On the other hand, if you control that population, then what are the benefits or what is the importance, which is specifically asked in the question. So you have to write about efforts of population stabilization and what can be their results. Your answer will take a more positive tone rather than talking about the harmful impacts of overpopulation. So the first one is resource allocation, that can occur more properly. So for your background, you can see some of these screenshots that overpopulation isn't the real problem, resource inequality is. This is covered by the Swaddle. You should definitely follow this channel and website, very intriguing content. So resource inequality is prevalent in our country. I hope these headlines indicate. Look at the last one. As India becomes world's most populous nation, cries grow louder about depleting resources. So natural resources, they're depleted faster because now the people who are using those natural resources, water, air, land, they are much higher in number as compared to they were before, and the natural resources available with you, they are limited. So resource allocation happens more positively when population control is there. So India, with its large and growing population, faces challenges related to resource distribution. Talk about some resources here. Population stabilization is essential to ensure equitable access to resources such as land, water, and energy, thereby reducing the potential for societal distress, very important, arising from resource shortages. So whenever resource shortages are there, the distress in society increases. People are more in competition. There are wherever, if you go to a place where resources are limited, you will see that a lot of people are quarreling or fighting with each other for no reason at all. The stress levels in the society are very high. I'm not talking about the psychological stress or the mental stress, but stress levels generally. People are not very cooperative with each other when they know that resources are limited. They just want to fight and assure the best for themselves and their families. So that results in societal distress, and this societal distress over a period of time actually turns into very violent results as well. So resource allocation can happen properly whenever population control is there. The second one is economic development. High population growth can strain the job market and contribute to elevated levels of unemployment and poverty. You must be aware, if you're preparing for any government exams, you must be aware of this data that 10 lakh people fill the form and 5 lakh people take this or that exam. And that is, and these were not the statistics few years ago. Many people did not even know about few of the government jobs many like 10 years ago, and competition was way lesser. Now this is because of increase in population, especially youth in the country, that this more number of people are fighting for the same number of jobs, and hence it is creating more stress for the youth of the country and economic development. Though it is happening, but unemployment is at an all-time high. So population stabilization allows for more effective economic planning, ensuring that opportunities for employment align with the available workforce, which is currently a problem in India, the workforce itself, because of lack of skills, and on the other hand, adequate jobs or employment opportunities are not available. So this in turn contributes to economic development and alleviates the misery associated with poverty. So then this was covered by the World Economic Forum. It's an old essay, but it's it does cover a great deal about, can an 8 billion global population get equal opportunities. So it is not just in context of India, it is in context of the other countries as well, the global population as a whole. So you must be aware of a lot of people being fired from jobs in the Western markets because so many people are not required, and artificial intelligence taking up jobs of the old engineers or the people who have been serving in a particular sector for very, very long. So all that is emanating because, first of all, artificial intelligence is something separately to dealt with, but all these problems are arising, lack of opportunities, or even the decrease in salary levels in the country in some specific jobs. That is because a lot of people are available who are unemployed and they want to work at whatever salaries that they get. So then the third point here is education and healthcare, which can be more equitable for a population that is stable. So the implications of the growing population on human development in India, this has been covered by ORF. That's a think tank. So population stabilization facilitates better planning and implementation of educational and healthcare programs, contributing to improved literacy rates, better health outcomes, and an overall reduction in societal distress again. Now, you see that mushrooming of private schools is happening a lot, and in these private schools, the teacher to pupil ratio is not followed. That is 30:1. That is not followed. Many schools have students, up to 70 or 80 students in one particular class, and that's why the quality of Indian education is not at par with its Western countries or other developed countries. Hence we covered the ASER survey also a few days back. Our foundational learning levels in the country are not very good. That is only because the funds that government has, or the infrastructure that we have available in the country, whether that's education, or on the other hand, if you talk about dispensaries, hospitals, availability of doctors, healthcare infrastructure per se, that is not adequate enough to serve this growing level of population. That is meant for fewer people, only then it will be able to serve best. And hence when you control population, education and healthcare can get better. The next one is environmental sustainability. Obviously, if exploitation of resources is there, more and more people are staying in one city. For example, Delhi, many people are buying cars or, having their own personal vehicles. Obviously, air pollution will rise, congestion of households will increase, traffic jams will be there, and hence environmental sustainability is compromised. So there are two headlines that I want you to focus on. First of all, India's rising population has environmental implications. You must be all aware that whenever population rises, environmental implications are there. It's not good for the environment. More food is required to feed that population. Agriculture releases methane. Agriculture releases a lot of greenhouse gases, and to carry out mass production for such an over expanding population, overgrowing population, you require artificial methods to produce food grains. For example, use of artificial fertilizers, artificial pesticides. Also, it causes more and more diseases. All right. So the next headline here is that India is more vulnerable to climate change because of heavy population due to very high population density. So both of these things are related. Overpopulation causes environmental implications, and environmental implications make a country that is very overly populated more susceptible to climate change or things like that. So environmental sustainability can be tackled with this with this population control measures. So overpopulation can lead to environmental degradation, deforestation, and pollution. Achieving population stabilization is vital for sustainable resource use, environmental conservation, and mitigating the adverse effects of climate change. And it is essential for minimizing the distress caused by environmental challenges. That's also again the same thing. Now here, what I would expect you to write in your model answers is sustainable development goals. Can you relate any sustainable development goals with environment and also with population explosion or control of population? If yes, then when you send your answers to us in the comment section in next 48 hours, I want you to include those sustainable development goals. They're just 17 in number, and relate them here in this point. The fifth one is infrastructure and quality of life. We have synthesized both of these points. And India's exploding population, infrastructure under strain in Mumbai. And this is not just Mumbai, this is the case with all of the tier 1 and tier 2 cities. Infrastructure is under strain. Let's say public transportation system that is meant just for 100 people, now because of migration, because of new job opportunities available, let's say 50 more people have migrated to that city, and now that public transportation system has to serve 150 people. And so that is a strain on the public transportation system. Obviously the seats will not be available. Obviously more frequency of buses or metros would be required. They will be required, those services will be required more frequently. Obviously crimes might rise because of the strain on infrastructure that is there, because of the strain that is there on the life and livelihoods of people in a certain area. So rapid population growth necessitates substantial investment in infrastructure development, and India's infrastructure has not been improving in parallel with the increase in population. There are still very much loopholes, there are still many voids. So stabilizing the population enables more efficient utilization of resources for building essential infrastructure such as transportation, housing, and sanitation. If your population is stable, then the infrastructure that you have already planned can serve the population for a very long period of time. What I have observed is that government comes with a plan of, let's say, building a 4-lane or a 6-lane to connect two places. By the time 6-lane or that 4-lane road gets constructed, the traffic is already so high that the new roads, they do not appear like they would serve that population or that area for the next 10 or 15 years. You cannot just depend on repairs. You'll have to expand the roads. You'll have to provide with more residential facilities, more transportation facilities, and sanitation facilities above all. And India is a water scarce nation. So I hope you understand what we mean when we talk about infrastructure here. So infrastructure, and as a result of lack of availability of good infrastructure, your quality of life also suffers, it goes down. So this in turn enhances living conditions and reduces the hardships. As you know, we are writing what happens when population is in control, or what are the benefits of population control. So it enhances living conditions and reduces the hardships associated with inadequate infrastructure. So now moving on to the next part, that is body part 2. Here we'll talk about what is being done and what can be done. Quickly, let's go through this section, and then we'll be done with the answer, and I'll take up all your queries and responses. So the first one that you can do is create awareness. Create awareness amongst whom? Amongst families, amongst couples, regarding population control or birth control measures, contraceptive measures, that people don't require to have multiple children. The life expectancy of our country is improving, and multiple children, they are not required as they were before, when India was predominantly dependent on agriculture. So creating awareness is very important. Then the second one is women empowerment. India is still dealing with the challenge of child marriage, and whenever child marriage happens, the the first ones who lose power is the women involved, because then they have no authority over their bodies or no reproductive rights. The reproductive rights are just dissolved, and their life, whether they want to have babies or not, or how many babies should be reproduced, that is decided by the family or their partners. So when women empowerment happens, let's say more women are going, more girls are going to school, they're pursuing their careers, then they're more aware of the responsibilities or that come with raising a child, or they're more aware of child care measures, or they're more aware of, let's say, birth control measures. So they take their own decisions regarding reproduction. They have more rights over, they have more reproductive rights per se. So then government schemes on par with efficient family planning. So family planning is something that has to come from the government, and government schemes should provide security, social security to people, so that people don't rely on producing multiple children for having social security, let's say in old age. And here it also should imply the infant mortality rate, that should go down, life expectancy, that should improve. So government should focus on these measures, and you can also give some examples of the measures that have provided for the same. Then promotion of the girl child. What happens in most families is, where in India or in Asian societies, not just in India, but in ancient Asian societies, preference for male child is more, because traditionally the daughter moves on to the next house, and it's the male or the son who's left behind to take care of the parents, or to, let's say, work and get money in the family. But now, times are changing. So what happens is, people keep on reproducing until unless they have a male child. So even if somebody has, let's say, 5, 7, 8 daughters, they still want to have another child in the hope of a male baby or a male child. So that leads to overpopulation, and such things. When you promote the girl child, when you show that the girl child is as capable as a boy, then population can be controlled in many parts of India. So first of all, creating awareness among the public about negative consequences of overpopulation. In one of the universities I recently visited, they have this digital board. When you enter the university, the first key point, you're welcomed by a digital board, a very big board, which indicates the population of India at that point. So the population of India, when you see at that board, you see that it's increasing faster than the clock ticks. So in like 1 second, 2 babies have been added to the population of India. So such boards, I think they're required to be placed at multiple places, not just in universities, but at other areas also, indicating what is the population of India, so that people can get a more practical image of what is happening in their country. So negative consequences of overpopulation, they need to be highlighted. Awareness needs to be created amongst the public. This can be done through adult education, Anganwadi, Asha, media especially, etc. The second one is women empowerment. So the success of family planning mainly depends on women and their status. If women are not empowered, they will not be able to have any say in reproduction, whether they want to have a baby or not. But if women are empowered enough, then they will choose for themselves. So it is crucial for women to get proper education, so that they can decide on the number of children they want and be aware of the available birth control measures. The third one here is control child marriage. You can add this as a separate point, but we have included this in women empowerment. Just when you add this as a separate point, you should have at least 2 lines to write on this, because for others also we are writing at least 2 lines. Then government schemes on par with efficient family planning. So then the government schemes, many opt for having children for the purpose of security during later stage of life. So if the government provides increased welfare schemes, let's say old age pensions, and if it has been indicated that life expectancy has increased, health insurance is there, so people will opt for far lesser children. And also I want to indicate here that India has 13% of unwanted fertility. This has been recorded. Unrecorded must be very, very higher. So around like many of the reproductions that occur, or many of the childbirths that occur, they're actually unplanned because of lack of education, awareness, and family planning services. So here is what the government needs to focus upon. The solutions can be provided in this area. The fourth one is promotion of the girl child. I have already, emphasize this enough. You can mention about Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme, which is running very successfully to improve the child sex ratio of the country, and it also improves. When child sex ratio improves, people feel that yes, females or daughters are also good enough, as good, they are as good as sons. Then obviously people don't tend to continue having children until a male child is born. So that's your body part 2. The body part 2 focused on what is being done or what can be done. You can choose to write any of these. We have written on what can be done. You can also talk about what is being done, because nothing directly has been asked in the question. All right, and it's for 600 words. That means your answer has to be a little long. In the conclusion, just summarize this and you'll be done. Just summarize the statement, summarize the harmful effects of overpopulation and what can be the way forward for India. So the effectual way to stop population growth is to stop family planning policies, but the exact way to achieve need to remove socio-cultural barriers and multi-sectoral participation. So socio-cultural barriers, they mostly indicate that India is a patriarchal society. Asian societies are patriarchal, and that's why reproduction is considered as very natural. First of all, marriage is a very strong institution in our country, and as a result of marriage, reproduction is something that is considered automatic, that this is supposed to happen, this is your responsibility, this is something that has to be done. So as a result of that, the resources are under stress, the country is under stress, and these complex challenges, they require multifaceted attention from demographers who study population, economists who are responsible for increasing GDP, providing employment or studying employment, sociologists who study the society, what are the impacts of population changes on the society, and public policy experts, that is your government and think tanks. The next one, here we have the talk about the high powered committee that will be formed. Just appreciate it. Also, in your conclusion, just make sure that you're not mentioning a new fact. So make sure that if you have to write some fact in the conclusion and you want to appreciate it,